Hey y'all, Instinct Survivalist coming again with another Tool Tip Tuesday. This time we'll be talking about the benefits of a tomahawk and a tri-stick. And why does it look weird? So what we're going to do is I'm going to reposition the camera to go through the pieces of the tri-stick. But let's talk about the tomahawk first. I was out here doing maintenance on it and realized, you know what, I don't think we've ever discussed it. I've shown it, not a big deal, but we haven't actually talked about the benefits. And so a lot of people take and they go with a tomahawk as opposed to an axe, and that's okay. It's your preference. But let's actually look at the benefits, especially of this one. This is the cricket chogan with a nice pole on the back, which is great for hammering. The other side of it is some of the benefits come down to the fact that this is removable. So I can slide this off and then just use the head, or just take the head with me. What that does do is lighten the pack and has the ability to go in and change the handle based off of my preference. If I'm trying to get a longer swing, shorter swing, what have you, I can change the handle out on it. Because unlike regular hafting of an axe, this actually goes to, when you put it on, it actually slides down the handle. Okay, and so this is actually the friction that goes in and keeps it up there, and then it buffers out at the top so that it's not going to slide off that way. So that's the difference in one piece, if you will, over an axe. The other thing is when you look at the way or the design, all of them are different. So just by the way, whether you're looking at a cold steel trail hawk, whether you're looking at the other cold steel one that's out there, or any other one out there, let's just go that route. The profile is a little different. With this chogan, the thing I like about it is it actually fans out a lot quicker, meaning that it's really designed more for splitting, in the sense that I can't get, you know, some of the finer things that you would do with, say, a camp axe. All right, now I may go in and use it as a camp axe because I've done it, I can't tell you how many times. But when you start getting into the tool for a purpose thing, this may not be exactly what you're looking for. So just keep that in mind as you're going in and try it, guys. That's what this is all about. Try it and see which one fits your specific need. You may take both of them out on a trip just to say, oh, you know, I'm trying this one, don't like it, or oh, I'm trying this one, this is a great idea. The other thing I like about the chogan is the ability to get in, and if you look where my hands are, I can get in there and do some fine work. So if I'm doing something like a feather stick, now granted the blade profile is probably not designed or really good for a feather stick. However, it's one of those things where I can. Now let's go to the other side of things. What is the other side of things? The other side of things is defense. Now you can use an axe, that's great. You can throw an axe, that's fine. You can throw a tomahawk, that's fine. You've seen the movies, and anyway, we're not going to get into all the movies and the accuracy and crap like that. But the other thing is it's used for fighting. So where you see the longer beard on it, the ability to pull down brush is also in that realm of things, right? Pull a stick. If I'm looking at snakes as an example and I need to get what's right there, I can pull up a snake, or I can pull the stick or branch if I need to. So there's that type of functionality. And then it's light. So you have the ability, especially when you compare the chogan to the trail hawk. The trail hawk is a lot lighter than this. This one I think weighs in at about 3.5 pounds, 3.3 pounds I think is the exact. But I like this one. I like it because it's a little heavier. When I go in, it plants it in there. I don't have a problem. But that's one of those things. So consider a hawk. So that's kind of what it boils down to, guys. All right, so let's get that out of the way. See how that goes. I'm going to reposition the camera. We're going to go over this tri-stick, but let's talk about the reason for the tri-stick to start with. The reason for doing a tri-stick, Morris Kohansky actually introduced this, I think it was Bushcraft magazine or something like that, back in 2006. Okay, so that's 12 years ago. When we look at how that has actually played out across the years, what is the benefits of a tri-stick? The benefit is this: I get to practice my knife skills. Regardless of which knife it is, I get to practice the ability to make notches that are beneficial to me out in the woods. So whether you're doing bushcraft or woodcraft, you have the ability to go in and practice these things that you're going to use out in the bush, right? So that's kind of the way it boils down to. So let me reposition the camera and I'll show you what I mean by practicing the different notches and different pieces. And this one's a modified version. Morris Kohansky actually introduced one with 7 or 8, depending upon which part you were using. This one has 14 in it, and could technically probably go with a 15 if we wanted to go that route. So, but there's not really a way to do it, and I'll explain that as we go into the in-depth. So let me reposition so that you can see what we're looking at and go from there. All right, guys, so we're going to go with the pinion first because I'm fixing to take it apart. But what this is for is actually swinging or making a hinge in a piece of wood or with a piece of wood. I've seen a lot of guys out there that are doing it. This was part of the challenge that we were doing for Spirit of the Woods Facebook group. So I'm going to pull the pin out because it's easier and I don't have to worry about falling apart or dropping it or what have you. So when we look at the different notches, that's one, right? So we talked about 14. The other is a digging stick as well as a root stripper. So being able to go in and do that. Now, Moore's actually talked about a spear point. You can do a spear point as well, so there's that. This one's a ramp, okay? So it's a straight plus a ramp, easy for sliding. Definitely fits the need as far as that goes. All right, so now let's go to the rest of them. This is a pass-through for cordage, so you can use a tie-off point if you will. Great. A dovetail. Now, you can see where it slides out and slides back in. Again, the purpose is if we're stacking Lincoln logs as an example, or if we're doing it at a bigger scale, being able to go in and make sure that this piece doesn't come out this way. So I'm pulling up and pushing the stick down. It does not. You got a U notch and a V notch. You can see from the side profile a little bit better, U, V, and the benefits are, depending upon what you're trying to do, is you do have a place for no slippage, or V notch being able to give it a little bit more. Now the U is really designed for if I'm laying another log on there, another stick on there, and then need to strap it or tie it down. That's a great point for the U. Now what I did do is I passed by this one. This is actually a bow knock, or what you would put for a string for a bow. If I'm going in and adding a string on a bow, maybe I made a self bow out in the woods or a survival bow, being able to have something that would hold that string. So there's that. And then this is actually a reduction, a cordage reduction, if you will. And in that cordage reduction, it's just a place for the cord to go and not slip off. So you can see here I've got the nice 90-degree points on there. And then I've got a pot hook here. You can see kind of the in the middle of it, how it goes up. And you can see the kind of a rounded edge there because my bail hook is pretty big. Then I've got what's called a square reduction. And this is beneficial when you're looking at a figure 4 deadfall as an example. It's actually the way I learned, is actually putting a square side to it, and I reduced the entire thing down so that it would be useful. The other is L7 notch. This is beneficial for other traps and trap pieces. So it may be that you're using it in conjunction, which you do, with the figure 4 deadfall, which has the square side. Last two, guys, we're rounding it out. Rope reduction, cordage reduction, being able to go in and put cordage on here without it slipping off. And this is just a smaller one than what the one down here is. And the reason being is I may not need all of this. I may not have a bigger piece of rope. This is good for bank line or something like that. Or maybe I just need a smaller piece. And then the last is the chamfer. Now we've talked about this when we're doing the ends of a stake, or creating a stake or a tent peg, if you will, being able to do that so that I can pound on this end without it splitting out. So there you go, fellas. Pretty simple, pretty easy. Go out in the woods, try a tomahawk if you have access to one. If you haven't gone in and bought one, you might want to look into it just to see if that's going to fit your specific need. And again, it may not, and that's okay. The reality of what Two Tip Tuesday is about is the ability to go in and try new things. Get out in the woods, as Cold Cracker Bushcraft Dan says. Get out in the woods, guys. Stay in the woods, guys. You know, getting back out to it, as far as Dave Canterbury says, and the list goes on. They've all encouraged you to get out in the woods. This is no different. I may be in the backyard for Two Tip Tuesday, but I do go in the woods and spend my time. I just have a tendency to forget the camera. Anyway, last thing, guys, is we're looking at changing the I don't know what it's called. You change the order of Two Tip Tuesday. We may do it every other week, since I'm starting to get a little bit too busy on the weekends doing stuff outdoors for teaching and stuff like that. So know that notice will come out when it happens. Right now we're actually working on this one. This will release as normal. which you're watching it. I don't know about the next one, okay? So we'll see how that goes. It may be a 2-week release before we get to that one, but I may wait another week and then release every 2 weeks. So as we go into the holiday season, as we go into the time where I'm spending more time outdoors, that's really what it boils down to. So, hey guys, that's it. That's what it all boils down to today. Thanks for all you do. Thanks for your likes, comments, subscribes, and shares. And until then, use your instincts to survive. Thanks for watching.